On March 9, 2023, at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, a session was held to honor the millions of Ukrainian women who fled their country due to the Russian declaration of war on Ukraine. The event was organized by Bill Tinglin, President and CEO of School News Nationwide, Mitya Bykov, Holocaust survivor and Chairman of the Holocaust Remembrance Association, and Mark Apple, Chairman of the Bridge Chairman Multicultural Advocacy Project. The event was held under Hope, Resilience, and Unity and included speakers, music, and a fireside chat. Rebecca Theodore, a renowned syndicated and international journalist, Anna Olytska, a Ukrainian-American journalist and actress in New York, and Anastasia Hemdan, a Ukrainian-Canadian journalist and lecturer in Toronto, hosted the event. The displaced Ukrainian women shared their experiences, with many losing loved ones in the war, while others overcame injuries, despair, and fear. The American and Canadian audiences brought hope, kindness, and love healing to their hearts. The event's outcome was to get the voices, compassion, and minds of the displaced Ukrainian women together to raise awareness and honor their resilience.
A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the session at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, where we honor the millions of Ukrainian women who fled their country due to the Russian declaration of war in Ukraine. We welcome you all from the United Nations, Canada, the United States, Ukraine, Poland, Greece, the Netherlands, and the world. Welcome. At this hour, we are going to be blessed and listen to an interlude of music by the vocal at Studio Smilivy at Ukrainian School, New Wave in Brooklyn. Nations Commission on the Status of Women, School News Nationwide, and the Holocaust Remembrance Association, we are pleased to honor the millions of Ukrainian women who fled their country due to the Russian declaration of war in Ukraine. Today, I'm honored to present the theme of these proceedings: hope, resilience, and unity. Today, International Women's Day 2023 occurs in the midst of the ongoing war in Ukraine. As we speak, hundreds of thousands of women are forced to flee their homes. We have all heard Ukrainian President Zelensky's brilliant speech to the US Congress on the importance of Ukraine's victory over Russia's invasion. But behind Mr. Zelensky's speech and the brave military are millions of Ukrainian women holding the country up and moving it forward. There are many women serving in the armed forces in Ukraine. In terms of the numbers of military personnel, Ukraine is ahead by NATO's standard with approximately 56,000 female troops. And to all the female soldiers serving in the military globally, I salute you as well. It's been 1 year since Russia launched its full-scale attack on Ukraine. Over the past 12 months, we have seen the conflict unfold, with millions of lives lost and millions more displaced. And we have also seen the crucial decimation of civilian infrastructure until this very minute. But today, we recognize hope. Today, we recognize unity. And today, we recognize resilience. Today, I want you to lend your imaginations to the chaotic streets of Ukraine, where women are fleeing their country just to protect their children. I want you to imagine wounded women breastfeeding their crying babies among the rubble and the chaos. Women giving birth under mortar attacks. Women taking part in rescue efforts, preparing food, giving birth to new life, to new hope. Women waiting for hours at the borders for freedom and safety. Women driving armored cars and trucks because their country is under attack. Women on the march with the few things they were able to gather in the cold and snow. Women who lost their lives. Women who are being raped continually. Yes, I want you to think of the horror. And I also want you to think outside of Ukraine, to the other women who are collecting aid, working in politics, in diplomacy, and in the media to find solutions, of activists protesting in the streets, of journalists being beaten, brutalized, and arrested, of women, daughters, mothers, wives, sisters, and friends, all building societies, sustaining economies, reaching education and creativity, guarding creation, protecting humanity. And I want you to think of the imprisoned women as well. I also want you to think of the lesbians and the trans and the bisexual women, women in silence of psychological and physical violence, of girls forced into an arranged marriage, forced to prostitute themselves, women who are killed or who see their children die in the arms of war. From trafficking and gender-based violence to the loss of crucial livelihoods, women and girls in Ukraine are facing severe impacts. According to the United Nations Commission on Human Rights, women account for nearly 40% of the millions of civilian casualties recorded in 2022. And of the estimated 7.9 internally displaced people in Ukraine, women now constitute about 90%. In the face of ongoing security threats, women and girls are experiencing increased gender-based violence, sexual harassment, and conflict-related sexual violence. Today, protecting women and civilians and providing aid to the nearly 18 million of Ukrainians in need is the top priority of School News Nationwide and its president, Mr. Bill Tinglin, and the president of the Holocaust Remembrance Association. The long work of journalists to investigate war crimes and serve justice to survivors is at the forefront. And for this, I call upon the long history of antagonism between the Ukrainian government and journalists and members of civil society. I make mention of a car bomb that killed fellow journalist Pavel Sheremet and the killing of Katerina Hansyuk, a well-known anti-corruption journalist. As women continue to bear different and additional burdens of conflict, they must be represented in all decision-making platforms. On the escalation, conflict prevention, mitigation, and other processes in pursuit of peace and security for all the people of Ukraine. Women in Ukraine are taking on leadership roles in their households and communities, and they remain largely underrepresented in decision-making spaces related to humanitarian and peace processes. Pope Francis said, "To hurt a woman is to insult God." In these hours, we entrust ourselves that all violence in Ukraine and in the world will come to an end. That every woman and every man and every boy and every girl may live in peace. That we shall find places to heal, to recover emotionally, to talk to each other about our problems, about our expectations and our fears. School News Nationwide, the Commission on the Status of Women, and the Holocaust Remembrance Foundation remain committed to delivering results across tactical priorities in Ukraine, to mobilize urgent and sustained actions to the empowerment of all women and girls, and also to the attainment of goal number 5 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal Agenda. I thank you.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine is having a widespread impact. Meanwhile, there are around 240,000 pregnant women in Ukraine. Since the invasion, they are often giving birth alone and in poor conditions. 80,000 of them are delivering in the next 3 months. One pregnant woman in Kyiv shared the terrible things she has witnessed while staying in the cellar of a maternity hospital in Ukraine's capital city.
So, women are giving birth just in here, in a basement. And they were all in blood because they had, for example, C-section. And then again, the alarm started and they need to go down. So basically, they didn't even have time to lie after the C-section. It's terrible.
are having their deliveries in makeshift shelters, in the basements of buildings, even in metro stations. And we're not talking hundreds, we're talking thousands here. And we are talking about a situation that is likely to worsen in the coming days and in the coming weeks unless the war stops. What UNFPA does, what the UN Population Fund does, is to provide supplies to hospitals, supplies to health providers, so they can perform those deliveries with some minimal conditions. I can give you the example, for instance, that we have kits, emergency kits, reproductive health kits that contain everything that is needed for a woman to have a clean delivery. This humanitarian assistance, apart from having humanitarian corridors, apart from establishing supply lines that enable us to get the supplies to the hospitals, what we need is the war to stop. We already have reports of a highly significant increase in the number of deliveries happening in Western Ukraine. Those are women on the move, pregnant women on the move that are actually having their deliveries as they try to reach the border with Poland, with Slovakia, or with Hungary, or even with Moldova. So as they move, they are having their deliveries, and of course, it's putting pressure on the hospitals. Again, this is something that poses a huge risk for their life and the life of the children that travel with them.
Thank you so very much again, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I want to introduce the journalist who is going to give you the full report on what exactly is happening or happened and is continually happening in Ukraine. We have one of our top Ukrainian journalists, Olytska. She's a Ukrainian American journalist and TV presenter. We also have Anastasia Hemdan, who is a Ukrainian-Canadian journalist.
My greetings to everybody this evening. I highly appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I have the honor to represent Ukrainian refugee women from New York. They are Lesa Kipенko from Kiev, Theodore and Zarema Musakova from Ukraine, Tasia Karpina from Odessa, Sia and Volonkova Victoria from Kiev. I'd like to introduce Lesa Kipyenko from Kiev. Lesa, tell us your story of the war. How did you survive and leave Ukraine along with two children?
Так, спочатку ми приїхали до Західної України, в Польщі, і вже звідти відлетіли до Нью-Йорка. Прямо по Московища, без грошей, з валізою. Дорога з Києва до Західної України триває 7 годин, але ми їхали 28 годин однією зупинкою, без відчуття втоми, голоду, спраги, не відчуваючи свого тіла, лише з однією думкою. Доїхати живими, особливо коли над головами прилітав військово-російський катин.
Lisa, I know that you have translation.
We traveled west to Poland, and from there we flew to New York. The trip west that usually takes about 7 hours took us 28. We left the bomb shelter with no money and just one little bag. I can't remember being tired or thirsty or hungry. All I remember is trying to make it to safety and the rumble of the Russian warplanes overhead.
Lisa, where is your husband?
Мій чоловік з перших днів війни пішов добровольцем на фронт. Зараз він вже 4-й місяць воює під Бахмутом. Він міг поїхати зі мною та зробив свій вибір, залишився захищати та відстоювати незалежність, свободу землі, на якій народились наші діти.
First day of the full-scale invasion, my husband signed up as a volunteer defender. For the last 4 months, he has been defending Bakhmut. He's not a Ukrainian citizen. He's from Belarus. But he's made his choice. The choice of defending and protecting the freedom and independence of the land where our children will work.
Леся, коли я запитала його, чому ти зробив це, він відповів. Бо тим самим я можу зробити, що я можу зробити, рятуючи одне життя, як казав Оскар Шиллер, рятую весь світ. За Україною буде вільна Білорусь. І сьогодні вільної, як я не бачила собі нічого.
He said, if there is anything I can do for this country, I will. And then he quoted Oskar Schindler, whoever saves one life saves the world entire. Free Ukraine will pave the way for free Belarus. I'm overwhelmed with pride for my husband, but today marks 1 year since I saw him last.
Lisa, did you threaten that you couldn't connect to your husband? What did you feel? Так, було сьогодні без зв'язку, він виконував важливе завдання, не можна використовувати телефончик, спеціальний зв'язок. Я відчула порожнечу, страх. Я думала, як сказати дітям. І з цією думкою я живу кожного дня. Для нас дуже важливо, щоб ми чули голос один одного кожного.
The longest silence was 7 days. He was in a special mission. No phones, no radios, no contact. I felt depleted and terrified. What do I tell the children? I live with this fear all the time. What helps is hearing his voice every day at least once.
Lisa, you started the new life from the very beginning in America with 2 small children. But at the same time, you didn't give up. You help and support Ukrainian refugee women like you here. Дуже тяжко, але я волонтери з різними організаціями приймаю участь у мітингах на підтримку України, проводжу фандрейзинги, організовую все, що я можу. Дійсно співпрацюю з українським Hemdan, який допоміг житлом безкоштовно. І дуже хочу, щоб була державна допомога таких організацій, які дуже допомагають українським жінкам з дітьми, чоловіки, яких на фронті, з житлом у Європі.
I try to give back by volunteering in charitable organizations, attending protests and assemblies in support of Ukrainian people, and organizing fundraisers. My biggest involvement is with Ukrainian Habitat Fund. They help my family with housing. They continue to help the Ukrainian women with children whose husbands are on the front lines. My hope is that this type of assistance and organizations like United Habitat Fund are supported by the government.
Your small daughter Stefania drew a picture of your family, you, your husband, and yourself.
Цей малюнок малювала моя донька Стефанія. Цей малюнок є символ всіх дітей України, які воюють на Україні, за їх майбутнє, за їх світлу долю, за незалежність нашої України. It's a symbol of all Ukrainian children whose dads are fighting for their free and bright future.
Lisa, thank you a lot for your touching story. I hope that your husband will come back soon and the war will end. And right now, I would like to connect to Canada, to Anastasia. Anastasia, what's going on right now there?
Okay, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. I'm very proud to introduce the women who stay strong and did not lose hope. Our first guest today is Mrs. Natalia, an English teacher from Ukrainian city Chernivtsi. So, Mrs. Natalia, tell us how your city changed in the first day of the war.
Yeah, there were a lot of great and unfavorable changes. And really from the very, very beginning, from the first days of this horrible and disastrous war, a lot of people have been forced to leave their homes and sometimes even lose their homes. And Bukovina, my native land, and our city in general, almost all the citizens, residents of our city, and me personally with my colleagues from my school. I used to work in a big school. We were giving shelter, food, all necessary things, and all the people who arrived in our city, in our land, they were supported greatly in all possible ways. And in general, I might say that more than 100,000 arrived in Bukovina, especially in the first months, and we had been taking part in volunteering work day by day, and it was just really very, very terrible experience for them and great challenge for us. But thanks God, we didn't know bombing, but
tell me, why did you decide to leave Ukraine?
The first reason to leave Ukraine, it's just my granddaughter. It is her protection. Yeah, she was very scared, terrified, couldn't stay in a basement while there were a lot of alarms and air raid warnings. And it was just necessary to do this, and that's why we leave. She was our great reason.
Your husband still in Ukraine?
Yeah, and now my husband is still in Ukraine. I'm here with my daughter and granddaughter. She is 4. By the way, she's here. Yeah.
So now in Canada for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So what is the hardest there for you?
Yeah, the hardest thing is that we are separated. Yeah, our family is divided. My husband is unfortunately not very healthy. He needs constant medical care after very heavy heart operations, and he suffers with heart disease and needs special medical care and everything. And my heart, my soul is divided. Yes. I wanted to help my daughter here and granddaughter, and I'm missing him and very much worrying about his health condition. That is a challenge.
So I think, are you ready to come back?
I think hopefully I am. Yeah, really, I am ready. And besides, I'm praying for my motherland, for all the Ukrainians. They are so much brave to save the whole of the world right now, and exactly at this minute as well.
Thank you, Natalia. We're praying with you. And now we return to the guest in New York, Anna.
Anastasia, we are Crimean Tatars. Crimean Tatars are the indigenous people of Ukraine. Crimea is Ukraine. Crimea has been illegally and brutally occupied by the Russian terrorist state for 9 years. Our people have repeatedly fought cities. It happened during the Russian Empire, the Soviet regime, and the Russian Federation. Actually, this is our third relocation because of Russia's harassment and persecution. 3 times we personally started living from scratch, and the entire Crimean Tatar people are still going through this experience. The first time our parents returned to their homeland in the 1990s, we were forced to be born in a foreign land because of the genocide committed against our people by the Soviet regime. When we returned, we lived in tents, while Russians lived in our grandfather's houses. For the second time, my sister and I left Crimea, unable to withstand discrimination, bullying, and hatred for our national heritage. Our father was a teacher, but with the annexion, the Russians Under intense pressure and stress from the situation, our father became seriously ill and died in 2017. Since 2014, persecution on religious, ethnic and political grounds has continued in Crimea. More than 500 children have been left without their parents. More than 284 men are currently in prison. Their wives are now without their husbands, who have been sentenced to 15 to 20 years in prison. We were forced to move as refugees first to Poland, then to the United States, because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Again, without jobs, without money, without language skills. As Crimean Tatars and as Ukrainian at risk of extinction, we humbly ask for the unity and support of the entire United Nations to help repel the Russian invaders and help restore our indigenous heritage and culture through humanitarian support.
I pass the word to Toronto, Canada, to Anastasia.
Thank you, Anna. My second guest today is Oksana Azarova from the city Kharkiv, and we can speak only Ukrainian. So, Оксана, скажіть, будь ласка, чи ви були у Харкові, коли почалася війна?
Прокинулись ми від вибухів десь 4:45. Це було жахливо. Ми живемо на 12-му поверсі, і нам з вікна видно це місто, як на ладоні. І зарево вибухів по всьому району міста, це було жахливо.
І ви проживали поруч з аеропортом?
Так, ми біля аеропорту живемо, і треба було терміново виїжджати, тому що бомбили аеропорти по всій країні. Ми зібрали речі і виїхали.
Так, тож ви приїхали до бомбосховища, правильно?
Так, ми виїхали до бомбосховища, там знаходились 7 днів. Там жили. Сподівалися, що це ненадовго і все закінчиться. Але 3 березня полетіли літаки і почали бомбити місто. Це було жахливо. В ту жахливу ніч ніхто не спав з дорослих. Ми сиділи всі в підвалі біля виходу. Хто з лопатою, хто з ломом, хто з палкою, хто що знайшов. Тому що думали, що якщо будинок завалиться, то треба буде розчищати вихід, щоб спасати дітей.
Скажіть, будь ласка, ким ви працювали до війни?
У нас був сімейний бізнес. У нас було 2 виробництва. Пошив одягу жіночого та чоловічого. Працювало більше, ніж 150 людей у нас.
І коли почалася війна, ви виробництво зупинили, так?
Так, 24 лютого ми зупинили своє виробництво.
І вже через кілька днів?
Так, через тиждень, може, у нас снаряд прилетів в наше виробництво і зруйнував будівлю. На щастя, що ніхто не працював на той момент, тому що які були наслідки.
Ви врятували людей. Скажіть, будь ласка, як вам зараз у Канаді, чи добре Канада прийняла вашу родину?
Родина моя не вся тут, я тут з донькою, а чоловік з сином ще в Україні.
Що є найважчим для жінки з дитиною тут?
Так, це дуже важко. З маленькою дитиною дуже важко одиначки жінки, тому що неможливо і працювати повний робочий день, тому що треба в школу відвести дитину, зустріти, так дуже важко. Житло теж зняти неможливо практично. Ми живемо з подругою, ми друг другу допомагаємо.
Так, українські жінки рятують одна одну, так?
Так.
Дякую вам,
Так.
Оксано. Вірю, що це все тимчасово. Дякую, що ви сьогодні з нами. Тож
Дуже дякую.
we going back to USA. Anna?
Anastasia, thank you very much. Вороткова Victoria from Kyiv. Victoria, I know that your grandfather fought against fascists in the Second World War. And in fact, you suffered the same war in the 21st century. Tell us your story.
Моє ім'я Вікторія з Києва. Це ім'я мені дав мій дід, який був фашистом 3 роки своїй минулій війні. Він знав ціну перемозі, а зараз цю ціну платить весь український народ. Росіяни напали на Київ так, як напали фашисти, о 4-й ранку. Я тоді не спала тієї ночі, я не зрозуміла, що це було. Я думала, хрім зимою вночі. А коли прийшло розуміння, то був жах. Ми сиділи в бомбосховищах, в підвалах з дітьми, з тваринами, молилися і чекали на добрі новини. Я не збиралась нікуди їхати, було дуже влаштоване життя, дім, робота. Але потім мої друзі почали надсилати інформацію з Ірпеня, Бучі, Бурзеля та Білогородку. Це дуже недалеко від нас. Я зрозуміла, що ми будемо наступні. Про зґвалтування, про вбивства, спалені дома, спалені машини. Це було жахливо, і я прийняла рішення їхати. З усіх моїх знайомих допомогу запропонувала лише одна людина. Одне місце в машині і 5 хвилин на збори. Тільки паспорт, тільки гаманець. Я ще й нічого. Ми їхали до кордону через Вінницю, тоді, коли, я не пам'ятаю, 6 чи 8 ракет спалили аеродром. Це було таке жахіття, це було пекло. Я не молода людина, але такого жахіття я не переживала ніколи і не знала, що таке може бути. Кордон я перетнула 8 березня і приїхала. Спочатку була Словаччина, потім Чехія, потім Німеччина, потім Америка. Я дуже дякую моїм друзям і людям небайдужим, хто допомагає українцям у цій біді, хто захистив, зрозумів і підтримав.
Victoria, how did you start the new life from the very beginning in other country? What difficulties you had? Як почала нове життя? Як почала нове життя?
Коли я зрозуміла, що це не минеться через 2 дні, я зрозуміла, що треба асимілюватися у суспільстві. Я дуже вдячна цій країні і вдячна суспільству за підтримку. Наразі я маю роботу, маю житло, маю друзів, але душа скалічена завжди. І я ще хотіла сказати, що я не розумію, як таке можливо, що в наш час якісь потвори прийшли до твого дому, до твоєї землі, палили, нищили, забирали, когось вбивали, і ще хтось це все підтримує. Це просто неможливо.
I know that you have relatives left in Ukraine.
Мій зять лікар, він з перших днів війни на фронті, він оперував та врятував дуже багато життів, довше 9 місяців. Моя донька за час війни захворіла на онкологію та приймає хіміотерапію зараз в бомбосховищі через біль, жах та страждання. І тільки вчора я знала, що мій рідний брат від Бахмуту зараз. Але я ще хочу сказати, що нас врятує сила духу та сила волі. Бо наш народ мужній, дружній, гідний і саме
Thank you, Anna. Now I want to introduce my next guest, also my good friend from Mariupol, Anna. Аню, розкажи, будь ласка, що відбувалося в Маріуполі після 24 лютого?
Привіт усім. Одразу після повномасштабного вторгнення Росії на територію України в Маріуполі за декілька днів зникло світло, газ, вода. 2 березня зник зв'язок. Ми не мали можливості зв'язатися зі своїми рідними, спитати, як вони себе почувають, чи не поранені, чи є в них що їсти, пити. Пересуватись містом ми не могли взагалі, бо це були постійні авіаудари, постійні обстріли, дуже небезпечно. Їсти ми готували на вогнищі біля під'їзду, по черзі з сусідами. Найважче то було коли в тебе закінчилась вода, її просто нема, і щоб її взяти, треба йти декілька кілометрів на струмок. Я вам хочу сказати, коли я відправляла свого чоловіка, ми з ним прощалися назавжди, бо він може не повернутися. Дуже важко, дуже тяжко.
Скажи, будь ласка, коли вам нарешті вдалося виїхати з Маріуполя?
Виїхали ми з Маріуполя 21 березня. Місяць ми там, грубо говоря, просиділи. Виїхавши, ми зрозуміли, що на територію України ми попасти не можемо, бо шлях був дуже небезпечний. Були випадки, коли розстрілювали машини з дітьми, з людьми похилого віку, байдуже в кого стрілять. Нашою сім'єю прийнято було рішення виїжджати через територію Росії. Ми пройшли перевірку, ми пройшли допит, перевірку.
Що це були за перевірки? Російською стороною, так?
Російська, ДНР на той момент ще була. Вони перевіряли телефон, вони тебе роздягали, дивились наявність татуювань, якщо вони в тебе є. Якщо є, то вже інші проблеми. Чоловіка мого побили на той час. Але ми то пройшли, слава Богу. З Росії ми вже поїхали до Грузії, з Грузії ми поїхали до Чехії, а в Польщі вже ми почали робити документи на Канаду.
Скажи, будь ласка, як відбувається твоя адаптація і адаптація твоєї сім'ї тут в Канаді?
Вона ще відбувається, думаю, це буде довгий шлях. Коли ти приїхав і розумієш, що в тебе нічого нема роботи, нема квартири, все треба починати з нуля. Але наразі для мене є актуальнішою тема адаптації моєї дитини у школі, бо нам в Україні поставили діагноз гіперактивність з дефіцитом уваги. Це дитина ходить до школи, але їй треба більше уваги, чи йогось треба чимось зацікавити.
Спеціальна програма, так?
Ну, не програма, може асистент. Треба його чимось зацікавити, щоб бо він може не дати вчитись іншим учням у школі. В канадську школу ми ходимо, щоб отримати тут, вже в Канаді, якогось чи то асистента, чи якусь, може, освітню програму спеціальну, якийсь супорт, так, то треба мати діагноз підтверджений. Наразі у нас немає підтвердженого діагнозу, бо
все згоріло.
Згоріло, з України ми нічого не можемо взяти, так, ніяких даних, і це треба робити тут. Тут, щоб зробити, підтвердити діагноз, дуже тяжкий шлях, бо він займає від 6 до 10, а то і більше місяців. Боремося.
Дякую тобі за твою історію. Вірю, що рішення знайдеться, можливо, вже знайшлося. Тож, окей, so I back roll to Anna. Anna, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the story from Toronto, from Canada. And right now, I would like to introduce you Olytska from Kyiv. She is my friend and colleague. She is a prominent TV presenter and very famous actress in Ukraine. And she left Ukraine with 3 small children. And I know that you lost a lot in Ukraine. Can you please tell your story?
Thank you, Anna. For the first, I am incredibly grateful to be here because I think this is really important for our country and for me, for my family, and for all women from Ukraine. Actually, I lost a lot, but I didn't lose my family. This is more important. I lost my career. I was a TV host at the largest Ukrainian national TV channel 1+1, and also I was actress and acting leading roles in TV series and films. But when the war started, full-scale invasion in Ukraine, I woke up in 5 in the morning, like not a TV host or actress, just a mom of 3 kids, 3 small kids, and my priorities and my focus are changed because I know I need to save my kids and I need to start some new life for my family because this is really difficult to be a mom at the war. To be a mom of 3 kids, 1 kid, and you know. Yes, but now we are here, we are safe. And
Was there such a moment that you thought that it could be lost?
Yeah, there was such a moment when I understood that this could be the last. Sitting in a bomb shelter with my 3 young kids, not knowing what would happen next, what would happen at the next minute. Hearing explosions and sirens and having no power of communication, I truly understood the fragility of life. It was a moment when I realized what really important for me and for my family, and I understand more about this life, actually.
I know that you started the new life in America with 3 children, 3 small children from the very beginning, without any help, without any support.
Yeah, that's true. My story, I think, the same like a lot of stories of Ukrainian women. Starting a new life in United States here from the very beginning, it was really difficult time for my family. We don't have any help here. We didn't have any money or clothes. This is really strange at the modern world, but actually this is true. When we arrived, we don't have any friends here. We started new contacts here and new relatives, and a lot of Ukrainians here and a lot of American people here are supporting us, supporting Ukrainians, and this is really, really good because I believe in people, in good people in the world, and I'm really thankful American people and this country to support.
Stasha, thank you very much for your story. I feel your pain, and at the same time, the pain in the victory of Ukraine and of the whole civilized world.
Glory to Ukraine, slava Ukraine.
Heroям слава. And right now, I would like to connect to Poland, where I have the honor to present Halina Haylo. Halina, I know that you have been living near Bucha.
Bucha was studied. What trials did you have to go through? Tell us your story.
Thank you, Anna. As Anya said, I lived in Kiev in the Nivki Street district, just a few kilometers from Bucha and Irpin. When the war began, we decided to leave Kiev. Perhaps we would not have made that decision, but my illness complicated the situation. Just a few days before the war, I was diagnosed with a serious illness, and I had to go to hospital for surgery at the end of February 2022. Therefore, realizing that I would not be able to receive proper treatment in Ukraine, my daughter, dog, and I were forced to leave Kiev. Since I don't have a husband, all the decisions were mine, and responsibility from them was also mine alone. Our journey was very long and difficult. At first, we drove for 3 days to the west of the country, and was very long. And then after resting for a while, we went to Poland. I was driving the whole time, and no one could replace me. So my illness worsened during the trip.
Ukrainian women are very strong. Considering your illness, how did you find the efforts to find a safe place for your child and to settle down in Poland?
It was very difficult, but I didn't have other choice. When I got to Polish doctors, they immediately performed emergency surgery on me and literally pulled me out of the jaws of death. Thanks God, the Polish doctors and Alona Shevtsova, who helps my family and gave us a roof over our heads. I'm alive, and my family is safe.
I will pass the word to Anastasia from Toronto.
Thank you, Anna. Now I introduce you Olga, a volunteer and manager of the Canadian charity Help Us Help. So, Olga, the whole world knows about the war that began on February 24. But tell me, when did this war start for you in your life?
Anastasia, for me, war began in May 2014. It began from the invasion of Russia to my native city, Donetsk. I was forced to leave my city, and I moved to Kramatorsk city, Donetsk Oblast. And at that time, I truly believed that it would be like temporary situation, we will win, and I wanted to support my country and my people. So I decided to join international humanitarian organization, International Committee of the Red Cross. So I became a humanitarian officer. And at that time, like during 5 years till 2019, I had been working on the frontline locations in Ukraine and tried to support people. We delivered tons of food and hygiene products. In the same time, we implemented different projects such as restoration of transportation routes for frontline locations. We provided people with agricultural grants in frame of livelihood programs and other programs too.
Okay, so now you are manager the Canadian charity Help Us Help. Tell please about this organization.
Yes, I'm really lucky because of my experience with the International Humanitarian Organization. I was able to get a job offer and I became a manager of Operation Help Us Help. Help Us Help charity operates almost 30 years. Help Us Help mainly supports orphans, vulnerable children, vulnerable population in Ukraine. Help Us Help exclusively works in Ukraine for Ukrainian people. And before the war, traditionally programs of Help Us Help were like summer winter camps for orphans and scholarship program, mental health support program. But when the war started, Help Us Help expanded their programs and they started to provide humanitarian aid for shelters, other facilities. In the same time, they provided financial relocation support to vulnerable people in Ukraine. And beside that, we are still running our traditional programs, which are camps for orphans, mental health, and scholarship program.
Your work is very important. Thank you. Thank you that you with us today. So, and I pass the world back to Anna. Anna.
Anastasia, thank you very much. I would like to introduce you, Tasia Kazina from Odessa. Tasia, you're a pensioner, and I know that you have a son and you have 2 grandchildren. How did you endure the first days of the Russian aggression?
Повернувшись, він сказав: мамо, це 1941. І на другий день пішов в ЗСУ. Своє минуле, своє майбутнє. Ось все, що я змогла з собою взяти з дороги свого минулого. Я зараз покажу вам, що бойовий прапор України, який написали мені хлопці. Чому? Хто відповість мені на мої питання? Мені, простій українці, яка сьогодні хоче знати, чому моя країна 9 років стікає кров'ю? Чому рівняться з землею наші міста, гарні і села? Чому гинуть кожен день невинні ні в чому люди? Чому так відбувається? Хто мені пояснить? Чому в ООН до сих пір сидить ця кривава і брехлива імперія зла, яка сміє сьогодні всьому людству погрожувати ядерною війною?
At the United Nations, this cursed war can be stopped in 3 days with decisive and brave decisions. Please stop this senseless war and do everything possible so it's the last one on this earth. Glory to you.
For their faith, all Ukrainians hope and count on the support of the United Nations and hope to punish Russia as a terrorist state at all the levels. Glory to our warriors. Glory to our allies. Glory to our Ukraine.
So, I want to introduce you as head of the religion organization of Christian Churches Kingdom of God in Ukraine, Bishop Alexander. We're ready to listen to you.
Thank you very much for your attention and support in my nation. This is really terrible time, and we are strong in this war because we stay together in unity. All the nation around the world. Also, we do a lot of things to help the people, particularly for women and for children. 3 years before the war, a lot of people from West Ukraine, where we stay, migrate to Poland and to Europe. And it's very sad for us. I ask why? Because they have some better life there and better salary. But in the 24th of February, I understand what God doing. We was ready because we have maybe 100 community in Europe who was ready to receive our refugee from Ukraine from first day of war. And 100,000 women with children, we support, we help, we moved to these people, and they was ready to receive them. Also in West Ukraine, where we stay, now we have a lot of people from East, from South, and we help to them. It's not too dangerous like East and South place. It's West Ukraine. And we do a lot of good things, and we support women and children. And thank you very much for your attention for this program. And God bless you.
Thank you. I thank you for all your wonderful work. And now I want to say that every Ukrainian woman now lives her tragedy. The next guest, it is a fight against breast cancer. So, пані Тетяно, коли ви дізналися про ваш діагноз?
Напередодні війни я звернулася до лікаря, бо відчула невелике ущільнення в лівій груді. Встигла здати лише декілька аналізів. І наступного ранку була війна. Ми прокинулися з 4-річною донькою від вибуху. Я вигнала машину з гаражу, поклала сумку. І щойно ми проїхали Каховську ГЕС, через годину її захопили росіяни. Після того, як росіяни зайшли в село, я насмілилася виїхати звідти також під ракетні обстріли без гуманітарного коридору, причепивши табличку «Діти» і білий прапор, що не допомагало. Ми виїхали від батьків мого чоловіка до чоловіка, який на той час працював і жив в Чехії. І лише звідти, з Чехії, я зв'язалася з лікарем, побачила аналізи, де не було нічого поганого. Намагалася не звертати уваги на біль, бо оформлювали документи для виїзду в Канаду, винаймали житло в готелі. І вже в Канаді нам надала житло місцева жінка. Я знайшла роботу, що допомагала відволіктися від поганих думок і була також заробітком. Влітку, місяць по тому, я почула від онколога діагноз – рак.
Прямо на ваш день народження?
Так, це було на мій день народження.
Як ви почуваєтеся зараз після лікування в Канаді?
Я дякую уряду Канади, що надав ОХІБ, бо я пройшла 8 хіміотерапій, операцію в грудні, щойно закінчила 15 радіацій, кожного дня 3 тижні. Просинаючись о 6 ранку, дуже великі відстані, важко, без машини, важко з дитиною. Це важко, але я вдячна людям, які допомагають місцевим жителям, що були поряд і підтримували. Я вірю, що все буде добре, бо попереду тривале лікування, гормональна терапія, а також пластична операція.
Пані Тетяно, я теж вірю, що все буде добре.
I'm happy.
Щиро вірю в ваше повне одужання. Дякую, що ви сьогодні.
Я вірю, що Україна переможе також. Але коли? Питання.
Переможе Україна, ви також переможете будь-яку хворобу. Дякую вам. So, I want to thank you all our guests, and I want to thank you to everyone who made this program today. I want to say I'm proud to be Ukrainian today. Slava Ukraini! Glory to Ukraine!
You have been hearing in the media, you have been hearing all of the atrocities that have been taking place in Ukraine. So whether it was in Ukraine, in Ukrainian language, or in English, we all feel the same. Okay? So I want to thank you so very much for coming out here, and I would like to introduce Mr. Bill Tinglin, who is the President and CEO of School News Nationwide, and Mr. Samuel Lykov, who is the President of the Holocaust Remembrance Association. Thank you so very much, gentlemen. The stage is yours.
We want to thank you so very much. Thank you. The people who make this possible, a wonderful man, learned honored, who've taken me to Ukraine, spent quality time in Odessa, Kiev, Bogdanovka, this man. Samuel Lykov, a Holocaust survivor, he's reliving several lives. He being a Holocaust survivor, and now what's going on in Ukraine again, the atrocities. And he have many students around, I'm one, and many of the people here are many of the students, teaching us how to make the world a better place. Sorry about over here. So we are indeed glad to have you. Mr. Michael, please.
You know, I'm really shocked for present so many people over here, which is together with Ukraine. And we're told their soul in this terrible war that's happened in motherland where we came from. I'm gratitude and thankful to everyone who came today, and I'm really shocked because so many supporters, so many people who can make stopping this war. More is going to be together with us, more we're going to do for stopping the war. And I would like to say thank you to everybody. I would like to say thank you for your support, your help, and for your donations that you're making, for your generosity, okay, and for your being together with us and doing this that's supposed to be main war, stop the war. Because myself, I was born in 1940. When I was a child, 1 year and 8 months, I was in concentration camp. And the right word to say, this was extermination. And God gave me, live till 83 years old, and I am a messenger about this what happened during the Second World War. And now my heart bleeding from looking every day at the news and listening to my friends who live in Ukraine. And I can say, who is not like Holocaust survivors like him? One of my friends, very dear friend. And he is delivering to people a message about this, what he came through, what I came through, and a lot of Holocaust survivors. I'm sure victory is going to come. I'm sure Ukraine is going to be independent. I'm sure Ukraine is going to be the best country in the world. And today we're working on a project. I would like to deliver through this message on a project which is called Hibuki. We're delivering special toys like dogs to children who is disabled, who emotionally disturbed. And this Hibuki toys by making children healing and forgetting about some terrible moments that they came through. If you're going to read on Facebook or different news about Hibuki, please join this movement. And this movement is going to make everyone happy, because children is the future of our beautiful country, Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!
Our gratitude goes to the Momentum Solution in Canada. They have made all this possible. They are a global logistical organization in Canada. Whatever you need to be moved, small or great, from a pin to an anchor, Momentum Solution in Canada, they are the organization that is able to do that. Our gratitude goes out to Mimi. Mimi, thank you so very much, Mimi, for making all this possible. She's in Canada. Thank you so very much. Barbara Cohen from Florida. Olia Sumnia from Toronto, Canada. Thank you so very much. Behind the scenes, Olga Fort in New York. Ariana, Valentina in Odessa. Guliana in New York. Deanna Washington, thank you. William, Rabbi Aaron Fredericks, we all thank you so very much. We give also gratitude goes out to our television broadcasting network in Canada and also here in New York. Mr. Manzoor Hussein, Andrew Horton, Gary Humini, Rebecca, we thank you so much, Rebecca, for being our master. Rebecca Theodore. And of course, our wonderful and Olytska from New York, the journalist from New York, and also in Ukraine. Matter of fact, it's an American journal, because she travels all over. Thank you so very much. Anastasia, Hemdan in Canada. Thank you for doing what you do so very well. Our guest, we want to thank Olytska, Bishop Alexandria, was here in New York with us a few days ago. He's now back in Ukraine, Galinia in Poland, Dodemia Paspalov from Bogdanovka here in Ukraine. Catherine, we also thank you. Thank you so very much for the musicians. Maestro Dariano Boreas, the vocal studio of Simliv, the Ukraine Heritage School, Miroslavia. Thank you, Ukraine Heritage School, and all the others. In gratitude, our heart goes out to you. Simon Steigman, Holocaust survivor.
In the Bible last week, in the Torah, we read about the story of Amalek, who comes to attack the children and the mothers and the grandparents. Isn't that what's happening now? Isn't that what you've said to me, your stories? The most horrible thing. And the rabbi's answer and the Torah's answer was to block that group out. We cannot allow this to happen. And let's just pray tonight that the world will come together behind all of you, behind you, Bill, behind Rabbi Todd, behind everybody here who worked so hard.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.